This news program is proudly brought to you by Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits and Now Biscuits.
Puma Energy declares fuel shortage. Research reveals transnational crime outcome. And the Public Service Act discussion. A very good evening. This is National EMTV News. I'm Grace Papiali. Thank you for joining us. Puma Energy has revealed that fuel stations have been forced to shut down due to fuel shortage. It has also indicated that Jet A fuel is most likely to finish within a day or two.
Papua New Guinea is currently experiencing a fuel catastrophe as its biggest supplier, Puma Energy PNG, has already stopped its supply to the market. Despite other potential suppliers such as Mobil and Total trying to assist, impacts can clearly be seen in the traveling public on land, on sea and by the air. And New Guinea flights were delayed and some cancelled till the next day over the weekend, both domestic and international. However, the airline issued a statement claiming this was due to bad weather. Puma's effort to control fuel for Air New Guinea until replacement supplies were secured has depleted faster than expected due to court orders forcing Puma to maintain maximum supply of Jet A fuel for the airline. Flight passengers, both domestic and international, are confirming massive delays in their flights with no proper explanation, and passengers piling up in the departure and check-in lounge used the screens to monitor departure times. Several Puma service stations have closed as of yesterday, and roads are no longer jammed up with vehicles as companies and businesses are trying to ration fuel supply and costs, while private vehicle runs are limited as well. Puma's decision to reduce its operations and fuel supply proportionate to the capacity of its remaining banking channels was announced last week after an extensive engagement with various government stakeholders, including Bank of PNG, to find long-term banking solution. Puma is urging the government to set up a task force to look at options that will help minimize the impact of fuel supply disruptions nationwide. Francisca Anania, National EMTV News.
The Independent Consumer and Competition Commission have clarified the hike in prices of goods, especially those under the watchdog's jurisdictions, stating that inflation and price increase are two different terms.
The Office of the Consumer Watchdog underscores the misconception of the public regarding the hike in prices and inflation, stating that the increase of prices is not influenced by inflation. This was explained by the Executive Manager of the Prices and Productivity Division of ICCC, Jack Timmy.
So basically, I think inflation is when you measure a basket of goods and services, the prices of them over a period of time. But what we are looking at now that we want to talk about it and we are looking into is sort of related to that, but it's just basically looking at the prices of individual goods. When you talk about inflation, you're looking at a basket of goods, and then you measure it over a period of time, and then you look at how the prices have gone up.
The manager of Prices and Productivity Division, Thomas Vue, further stressed on the rate of the increase of prices on selected goods and further clarified.
It is usually called inflation rate, but we choose to, just say inflation over time, and then we forgot that it is a rate. Like it is not an actual price, but it is a rate. So, like if someone comes out and says, "Oh well, inflation has dropped by 3%," that doesn't mean that prices have dropped by 3%. What it means is that prices have increased, but now they're increasing slower than they were increasing previously.
When asked what triggered the prices to increase at a faster rate, this was his response.
Requirements, and so like there are a lot of cost involved, and as well as the cost of complying with health standards and requirements, like a regulatory cost of compliance, which is we must observe, and we must appreciate that these are costs that are always there.
Adding on, ICCC Commissioner explains that business houses go through a stringent process prior to increasing their prices.
Most of the things from imports that we bring into our economy. So from our visibility, the price trend that is moving is showing a reflection of what is happening globally.
In the meantime, ICCC only controls and monitors the price of shelf products such as rice, flour, and sugar. Also, other essential services like water, sewages, fuel, essential port service, electricity tariffs, PMV and taxi fares, and compulsory third-party motor vehicle insurance. Sharon Engnui, National EMTV News.
National Research Institute issues paper number 46 states that inadequate capacity among police officers and unsecured borders contributes to the growing transnational crime in PNG. A presentation was done today by Research Officer Julian Melpa.
Issues paper number 46 states that transnational crime has the ability to rapidly expand its network into PNG due to weak governance, corruption, poverty, and geographical location.
National security is becoming prominent in the country, and it is seen as a cross-cutting issues economically, socially, environmentally, and governance-ly as well too. It's a cross-cutting issue right now. The enabling environment for transnational crime to grow in PNG. Weak governance is one of them, and corruption is another one, which enables the transnational crime to grow, and improved technology. For example, the incident of Golden Sun, they can create fake accounts. Criminals can use fake accounts to rob people and all this. These are top criminal activities, as well as poverty enables the growth of transnational crime as well. And geographical location is one. Our geographical location is prominent to transnational crime as well too.
Julian Melpa stressed that transnational crime poses a national security threat in PNG due to weak law enforcement, creating an environment that allows it to thrive. She says while efforts have been made to address this issue, there are challenges that hinder consistent action against it.
Lack of skills to investigate organized crime group criminal activities, which is well organized by the top criminals from different countries, and lack of resource to fully enforce the law enforcers, especially our police officers, defense, and law enforcing officers. Lack of resource to enforce, fully equip them to protect the border areas, and taking another challenge is being more reactive to the after the incident that's already happened. So that's another challenge for this. Another challenge is lack of collaborations between the law enforcing agents, and there's also lack of policies to combat transnational crime. That's another challenge to this.
This NRI issues paper number 46 concludes that transnational crime poses significant challenges to PNG's national security. Esther Gane, National EMTV News.
Meanwhile, the NRI issues paper number 46 recommends the responsible government authorities to train the law enforcement officers to be more proactive in their approach, with provision of resources to minimize the increasing rate of transnational crime in the country.
The NRI Research Officer Julian Melpa says law enforcement officers need to take a more proactive approach to plan and prepare to stabilize the transnational crime rather than being reactive after the crime being committed.
And then engagement of experts in investigation, like our police officers lack the skills of investigation. So that there should be expert that should recruit in the country. So it gives the skills to our law enforcing officers. So the skills pass on from generation to generation. That's how it can be utilized.
Ms. Melpa stressed that transnational crime cannot be effectively addressed by a single agency. She further added that effective collaboration is essential for addressing transnational crime as a national security issue and strengthening law enforcement in PNG.
An establishment of laboratory to test a substance like drugs, how the impact of it for the people, for the growth of our young generation as well as the economic growth, and effective collaboration between law enforcing agencies. That should also be one of them that people should look at.
Melpa recommends proper awareness to be carried out to inform citizens in both rural and urban areas about how it affects the everyday lives of the people and the economy of PNG. Esther Gane, National EMTV News.
Women in customs administrations across the Pacific have proved that they can work in roles of trade facilitation, shipping inspections, tax compliance, transnational crime investigations, and maritime surveillance. This is following a total of 45 women from 14 Pacific countries graduated from the third phase of the Pacific Women's Professional Development Program today. The program was a joint initiative between the Oceania Customs Organization, the Australian Border Force, and RMIT University. Speaking at the graduation ceremony, ABF Assistant Commissioner Sharon Hui emphasized that ABF stand committed to work in collaboration with interested stakeholders to empower women to realize their full potential in customs agencies. The National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. Women in customs administrations across the Pacific have proved that they can work in roles of trade facilitation, shipping inspections, tax compliance, transnational crime investigations, and maritime surveillance. This is following a total of 45 women from 14 Pacific countries graduated from the third phase of the Pacific Women's Professional Development Program today. The program was a joint initiative between the Oceania Customs Organization, the Australian Border Force, and RMIT University. Speaking at the graduation ceremony, ABF Assistant Commissioner Sharon Hui emphasized that ABF stands committed to work in collaboration with interested stakeholders to empower women to realize their full potential in customs agencies. National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. You're watching National EMTV News. The Office of the Secretary of the Department of Works and Highways has announced a road closure along Porgera, Liagam and Wabeg in Enga Province. The cause of this was a major landslip that occurred recently. This is the affected area. A major landslip caused by the heavy wet weather. That is the road connecting Wabeg and Porgera in Enga Province. This has resulted in a complete block of traffic flow between Liagam and Wapenamanda. The road is now closed for 2 weeks, where it will see ongoing repairs underway. This comes after locals have allowed for the commencement of restoration of works. Emergency work started yesterday by contractor K-Star Limited. Meantime, the public is advised to use alternate roads carefully. St. John Ambulance Momase Regional Commander Anderson Pomb has raised serious concern regarding the safety of ambulance crew and patients regarding a shootout on an ambulance in Leh yesterday morning.
In a deeply concerning incident, St. John Ambulance PNG reports that an ambulance was targeted in a shootout incident while responding to an emergency in Leh at the early hours of Tuesday morning. The incident occurred around 1 a.m. near the Bumayong Kaisa bus stop while the ambulance crew were transporting a woman in labor to Enga Hospital. Momase Regional Ambulance Commander Anderson Pomb in a media release stated that this incident is a grave concern for them as it could have had severe consequences for both their dedicated ambulance crew and the patient on board. He further highlighted that while there have been recent instances of attacks on ambulances, this marks the first involving a firearm. Pomb urged community leaders to take immediate action, emphasizing on the importance of educating youths on the critical role played by ambulance service. Commander Pomb indicated that ambulance service is a vital lifeline for people of Leh and the surrounding areas, but incidents like this on the officers raises serious concerns. Pomb stressed the need for proper legislation to protect ambulance officers and expressed concern about the challenges faced by the ambulance crews when responding to emergencies during the night hours. He also calls for increased vigilance and support from the community. This incident again highlights the dangers the ambulance officers face, bringing help to others at all hours of the day and night. Louis Maingu, National EMTV News.
The amendment of the Public Services Act of 1995 workshop was held at the Crown Hotel in Port Moresby today. This collaboration between the Somare Institute of Leadership and Governance with the Department of Personnel Management is to provide a strategic policy direction for the public service to systemize and structure a fit-for-purpose human capital and institutional development in the national public service.
The Public Sector Law Review Consultative Workshop began with opening remarks from the SILAG CEO, Michael Barobe, emphasizing on the reasons and objective on the amendment of the Public Service Act of 1995 and their first workshop held in Western Highlands Province recently.
What we are trying to do is simply we are trying to explain the government policy of making PILAC becoming a mandatory for any employment in the public service, PILAC certification become mandatory for anyone to be employed in the public service. We are trying to make that into a law. So to change the Public Service Management Act, there's a requirement that you need to do a consultative workshop. First one that we had in Hagen, that was on the 14th of this month. Then we got a very good feedback from the Highlands region and the Momase. They really support this change to take place so that the merit-based appointment has been done in the public service. Appointments are done systematically based on the qualification, the training program that we provide. It's all about reforming the public service to ensure that fit and proper people with the right skill are being appointed so that they may be able to implement the government policies. They may be able to do the work that is more competently to deliver government goods and services to people.
According to SILAG CEO, as a mandated public sector training provider, they have structured and tailored a range of government courses, especially with a focus on ethics and value-based leadership, and is offered to any career public servant aspiring to progress in the public service. It is understood that once the Act is passed, it will be a mandatory requirement to acquire training at SILAG prior to pursuing the role of public service. CEO Barobe shared that qualification pathway is arranged in a multiple entry-exit point so that an officer can progress flexibly until a high level of government qualification is attained in the National Training Qualification Pathway. He then informed on when the amended act will be brought forth to the government.
Go by May, next sitting of Parliament. Yeah. I think this is the final consultative workshop. Then after this, we'll do a drafting process, go to FLC, State Soul, all these things. Then we'll put through NEC, then to the Parliament.
Claire Mauta, National EMTV News.
Department of Information and Communication Technology has signed a Memorandum of Understanding with the National Institute of Research today in Port Moresby. This is to advance the role of research, ICT and digital revolution for economic and social development for Papua New Guinea.
So normally we sit here, but today...
The director for NRI, Dr. Osborne Sanida, highlighted that most of NRI's research programs coincides with the vision of DICT. Dr. Sanida stressed that NRI and DICT share the same objective in making information available to the people.
Information available to people so they can make informed decisions for what? To improve their lives. That's the ultimate aim of any government policy, is to improve the welfare of the people that voted them in. Regardless of the politics, some of which is happening now, but the ultimate, whether you are in government or in the opposition, the aim is to improve the welfare of people.
The director further elaborates on the role of NRI under the MOU.
The NRI Act 1993 states that the functions of the Institute include promotion of research into PNG society and the economy, and undertaking of research into social, political, and economic problems of Papua New Guinea, in order to enable practical solutions to such problems to be formulated. I think this particular aspect of this where I believe the MOU will, because it is about solving problems. And the ICT or information is now transformed, that we do not need to do manual processes anymore. We can transform to digital processes for us to be able to address problems. It's about what are the problems and how can we address.
The Secretary for DICT, Stephen Matanahao, stated that with a lot of policy work undertaken by the department, it needs to have a storeroom of knowledge in policy formulation and implementation. He said a lot of DICT work revolves around geopolitics, and knowledge gained at front line needs to be anchored on paper.
We want to find a place where we can document the knowledge that we are learning, and we can have a repository in the areas of digital transformation, and there's a number of areas, and we want to learn how to improve and build our capacity in policy writing. And so I think this is where the gist of the MOU is.
The director for NRI said he anticipates an effective collaboration after the MOU is signed to ensure role of research, ICT and digital transformation is effective in solving problems in the country. Malinta Yopolo, National EMTV News.
All public servants in North Flight District of Western Province have been urged to maintain good leadership to serve the people. This was emphasized during the Public Servants Dedication Service held at the North Fly House Administration Building in Kiunga today. In a small yet significant dedication service for public servants in Kiunga, they were urged to reflect on the lack of service delivery in the past years. This included health, education, roads, policing and business programs, among others. Speaking at the event, Acting District Administrator Greg Isau challenged all to be at work on time and embrace work ethics. He further calls on the public servants in the district to work diligently to address ongoing issues for improved living. Mr. Isau gave assurance to the people that all public servants will perform their duties to ensure planned activities are delivered. He stressed that education, health, agribusiness, enabling infrastructure, and law and order will be the key areas the North Fly DDA will work on to address and provide services aligned with its 5-year development plan. And now we take a look at the Fund market report. The Kina closed 1 point lower at $0.2661 US in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, Kina was buying $0.2586 US, $0.3924 Australian dollars, 0.2309 euro, 38.59 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading lower, coffee closed higher, cocoa closed lower, copra closed higher, palm oil closed higher, crude oil is trading higher, copper closed lower. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed lower, the ASX 200 is trading lower, the All Ordinaries is trading lower. National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. You're watching National EMTV News. The Secretary for Department of Information and Communications Technology, Stephen Matainaho, revealed that the core business for the department going forward is now on coordination of digitalization and digital government as a whole. He made this statement today in Port Moresby.
I've reached out to the UN.
The Secretary highlighted that from 2019 to 2024, DICT has established a number of new divisions in the span of 2 years.
In 2019, when the Minister came on board, Honorable Timothy Massieu, he started talking about the vision for digital transformation. So from 2019 to where we are 2024, we've gone from a staffing strength of around 30 or so plus, and we are now at 106, and we've established a number of brand new divisions in the last year and a half to 2 years in cybersecurity, in what we're calling DevOps, so that's the development of applications and systems, and then also cloud technology. So we have those 3 key divisions.
According to the Secretary, DICT is moving into coordination of digitalization and digital government as a whole. DICT will have storehouse of areas of digitalization.
Through our minister and the government of the day, we were able to pass the Digital Government Act of 2022. So with that, and from this reform from that Office of Information and Communication to Department of ICT, and I should also say that there's considerations to the name change to have it more refined. We are seeing that within that short time span, we've learned a lot, and we also need to continue to build our capacity in learning.
Stressing that DICT has passed a number of policies, Mr. Matainaho said DICT publishes all its policies that is under consultation and endorsed by the Cabinet for the purposes of transparency. Malinta Yopolo, National EMTV News.
Department of Personnel Management consultant Clint Alok, during the Public Sector Law Review Consultative Workshop today, gave an insight of the amendment of Public Service Act of 1995 on career development policy.
The Deputy Secretary of DPM, Ellison Kalimet, on his opening speech, spoke on the importance of the workshop in relation to training of public servants in the country, highlighting on the Public Service Act of 1995 that doesn't cover.
The amended bill that as a result of this consultative workshop that will be going out throughout the country will reflect the government's aim of having a systematic public sector qualification pathway that is in line with a structured public sector career pathway in the National Public Service. This is a critical legislative amendment, and it's part of the reforms that we are going through, and that is to transform SILAG into one of those premier training institutions for the public service.
Clint Alok, who is the consultant to the Department of Personnel Management, elaborated more on the career development policy.
The government is looking at changing the mode of public service training, and it's critical for us to as agencies, we need to take note of it, because once it becomes law, it will affect your officers. Once it becomes law, it will affect your officers, because government is now talking about competencies and relevance and appropriateness of training for our civil service. The other most important thing that government is looking at is public service should be a career of choice. Not after you tried everything else and you couldn't make it, so you joined the civil service. No, you must make a choice. Whilst you are going through your tertiary institution, you make a deliberate choice that you want to be a civil servant. So the changes is to enable you to do that. It's your choice to make. If you want to be a civil servant, then you make that choice.
Claire Mauta, National EMTV News.
National EMTV News continues after the break with Trukai Sport. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. In a recent interview, the Port Moresby Women's Softball Association President Ian Soweni announced that corporate slow pitch matches will kick off on April as the major fundraiser for the association.
President Soweni said the current seasonal softball tournament's goal was to see the interest of women in the city on softball, which their goal was achieved. After that, they will commence fundraiser matches.
Just to see the girls coming back and joining the clubs, and the clubs actually putting back, teams to play. So I think we've achieved that. We've also, as executives, we've made it easier for them. We didn't charge any registration fees or affiliation fees to see if they can organize themselves and bring back, because we can organize the competition, but without the teams, the players, we won't have the comp. Season will run from September to current the following year. That's the normal season as per our constitution and this. But for a calendar after this, in April, we will run the corporate slow pitch. Corporate slow pitch is the major fundraiser for the association.
He also highlighted that the seasonal tournament for this year had only 7 women's clubs.
Basically, softball is not been played for the last 2 or 3 years because of COVID and all the lockdowns that came with it. So this season was just to bring back the teams, see the interest that are in the women and girls in the city to come back and play softball. So we've, I think, come a long way from October, November. Running the slow pitch in the beginning of last year.
Being a new sport in Papua New Guinea and mostly played in the United States of America, organizing the game also has some challenges.
Teams that set to play didn't turn up, like Aviat, and other teams like United Sisters, Singers and Saints didn't have a big great team. So hopefully we've come a long way now. Hopefully the new season we can see some improvement, that women are seeing that softball has been played and come back and join the clubs. So that's been the challenge for us now.
James Guken, Trukai Sports.
PNG female hurdler Adrian Monagi has left Brisbane for Glasgow, United Kingdom to participate in the World Indo Championships. Monagi will compete in the Open Women's 60-meter hurdle on Saturday, 9:20 p.m. PNG time. With the major setback since the COVID-19 pandemic, AFL PNG has gained its momentum to kick off its development programs in the country. As for the New Guinea Islands region, its Regional Development Manager, Alphonse Jambu-Rufo, says they are expecting more participants this year.
Jambu-Rufo said that there is an increase in the number of schools participating in the programs.
Most of the schools, with the acceptance, allowing us to be part of the program in the PE lessons in their respective schools, we've seen a very great number of interest coming in, and after the COVID, our statistics for the participants have grown up.
Despite the challenges faced over the years, he said that AFL-PNG is motivated in extending its program into rural areas.
Outside centres, the progress, obviously with the challenge which we all know, Papua New Guinea is a very strong hold of NRL Sporting Code. But, we always take these challenges part of the process of us setting ourselves up to be better at our program. The progress after the COVID-19, starting to getting back numbers, especially with the new kick program.
Jambarufo gave credits to AFL-PNG management and the development officials in the country for their tireless efforts in pushing the programs. Jonathan Sibona, Trukai Sports.
Trukai Sports continues after the break. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
You're watching Trukai Sports. The PNG Kickboxing Federation has received assistance worth of 5,000 kina from Trophy House to cater for their upcoming events this year.
The presentation includes a dummy check of 1,700 kina, trophies and medals. President Stanley Nandex explained the importance of sponsorships in all sporting fraternities.
We have sponsors coming in, but they will be also sponsoring different events as well. So as you can see, some of those banners and stuff there, people who have already come on board to say we want to be part of this training towards the World Championships. So that's why different sponsors are coming on board in different programs that we have. So
Nandex further talked on the upcoming international matches.
Three regional events still yet to finish, and then the national championships, our preparations, and then the World Championship as well. So the process would be quite challenging as well. And we are grateful that some of these companies have already shown their interest to come on board. So they will be coming on different sponsorships as well, different events.
Jonathan Sibona, Trukai Sports.
Papua New Guinea's national soccer team, nicknamed the PNG Couples, were invited to partake in the FIFA series. Couples will be playing with host Sri Lanka, Bhutan and the Central African Republic from March 18th to the 26th. By participating in this series, these national teams will have more opportunities to take part in international matches. Currently, the couples are ranked 165, Sri Lanka is ranked 204, Bhutan 184, and Central African Republic ranked 129. And that ends Trukai Sports. The Money Plus weather report is next. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
The weather forecast for the next 24 hours in the southern region: Port Moresby City, partly cloudy with few showers. Popondetta, partly cloudy with some showers possible. In the Momase region, Ley City, partly cloudy with some showers possible. Vanimo, partly cloudy with some showers and possible thunderstorm. In the New Guinea Islands region, Lorengau, mostly fine. Buka, cloudy with few showers. In the Highlands region, Mount Hagen City, cloudy with some showers. Mendi, Tari and Wabeg, partly cloudy and few showers with possible thunderstorm.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
And that wraps up the news, sports and weather for Wednesday, the 28th of February 2024. From all of us here, pleasant viewing. Bye for now.
This news program was proudly brought to you by Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits and Gold Nuggets.